Hi, you're watching The Tattooed Psychic. I am The Tattooed Psychic. Thank you for tuning in today. And if you are taking time out of your day to listen to me, I appreciate it very much. And please hit the like and subscribe button if you wish. And if not, I wish you the best anyway. So today I want to talk to you about finding your path, right? Because I get a lot of emails from people who ask me, Faye, I'm so lost in my life. What do I do? What is my life purpose? I feel struggle all the time. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So I'm going to sum it up really basic. First of all, you're here to love and to help each other. Our main purpose here is to love. Those of you who are called to be healers, those of you who have that loving nature, spirit, and are not evil or have any ill intent, your purpose here is to love. And other people are here to teach us how to love, okay? And so, but mainly it is to grow and to love yourself and to understand what love is and to help this planet, honestly, you know? And so we do have a purpose. The main purpose is to love. Because so many of us are always seeking love, right? Everybody wants to fall in love. Everyone's looking for their soulmate that doesn't exist. Everybody's always on this chase for a life that they don't have, but they're not enjoying the moment, right? You've got to learn to enjoy the moment that you're in and be present in your moment. And feel and think about your future for sure, but when you think about your future, think about it in a beautiful, positive way. But that's not what a lot of people do, including myself for years. And so people will ask me, Faye, what did you do? And now, see, my way of doing things might be different than your way of doing things. And some people don't agree with my way of doing things, and that's okay, because everybody is different. We all operate differently, right? For me, I've had trauma since I was in the womb, pretty much. My mother did not want me, and I had a lot of issues based around my childhood. And those issues, and I was in foster homes in the 70s, every kind of abuse you can imagine happened to me. And I was often left to fend for myself. Nobody gave a shit about me. And that's why I think that I was able to keep my psychic gift as powerful as it is and my medium abilities, because I literally would go to spirits and talk to them, right? As a little girl, and they would tell me to be strong, and that one day all this would make sense, and I would say, like, why is God punishing me? I had all these, at 5 years old, I remember saying that out loud, God, why are you punishing me, right? Because I knew there was a bigger force even then. Even though my mother never explained God to me, I didn't know, or nobody did. I went to church on my own when I was in, I think it was fifth grade. Yeah. I would walk to the local church and pray God to either take my life or to tell me what I did wrong so I could fix it, right? I remember those images so clearly in my mind. So I guess in some ways my life path is a lot different than other people's, just like everybody's life path is different, right? Some of you have had really good homes, people who loved you, mothers who loved you and nurturing and all of that. I didn't have that, and so, a lot of people didn't. And so those of us who've had that struggle since trauma, since childhood, we have a bit more difficult path to overcome because we are struggling to survive and looking for that love on a constant basis. That was me. I always looked for it in the wrong way. I always looked for it in unhealthy people, that I thought if I could get those people to love me, then I was something, right? My mother would literally tell me that nobody would ever love me and I was a piece of shit. I remember her saying that to me. And then she just abandoned us when I was 5 years old, left us in a house and never came back. Never came back. Who does that? But my mom has her own path. She has her own struggles. And I see that now as an adult. But as a child, it's damaging when your own mother doesn't love you. And now as an adult, I can accept it more because I understand my mother a bit more because she grew up and, you know, spent some time in her childhood in World War II prison camps. So I get why she's so messed up, but as a child, you're not comprehending that fact. You just want your mother to love you. That's all I wanted, was my mother's love, and I never got it, and I never will. And I had to accept that fact. When I was in my 30s, my mother's never going to love me, and that's okay. That's okay. But what I found in myself was I was going to all these shamans and doing spiritual retreats and soul retrievals and all of that, and none of it was working. I'll be honest with you. It would put a Band-Aid on it and I'd feel okay for a while, but none of it was working because my trauma was so deep in my cellular structure and in my subconscious mind that my body would react normally, like it was normal to be in trauma all the time, right? So I was constantly attracting trauma in my personal life because I had, my ex tried to kill me. I'll never forget the moment I saw death, you know what I mean? And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all. By the way, I'll talk about that another day. But I watched someone literally take their life in front of me. And it was like this trauma, especially the last 8 years. And I guess for a lot of Capricorns, the last 8 years have been hell, but now we're getting our reward, right? We worked through it and we're getting that light. Again, we'll talk about that another time. But right now I just want to talk about what will work for you to heal. And so I have to give you my story. So that, like I said, that all that Band-Aid stuff didn't work because I wasn't really realizing that my brain was programmed a certain way. And so until I reprogrammed my brain and my cellular structure, I was not going to understand the purpose of my life. I wasn't going to be happy in this life. And I wasn't going to definitely attract healthy people in my life. So I did the work. In other words, for me, what worked was reprogramming my cellular structure and reprogramming my subconscious mind. And people go, how do you do that? Well, if you watch my videos, I talk about it, but there's also many people, there's not a lot of people who understand the science of it. Let me rephrase that. But many people follow a man named Joe Dispenza, and that's who helped me. Now, some people will argue with his theories, right? But it worked for me, right? Because it's science meets spirit, and it makes sense. Because I'm half science and I'm half spirit. And many scientists will say spirituality and science don't mix, but they actually do, because it's energy, right? We're our body, our mind, our spirit, it's all this energy and all these amazing things that we control, really, but we're not taught that we control it, right? We become victims of our environment. And so until you undo all that trauma and reprogram your cells and reprogram the subconscious mind. For me, that's how I did it, and that's what works for me. His theories worked for me, and I studied them for a long time, and he's the only person I found that works for me. Other people have. Matt Kahn definitely opened a door for me, but he didn't get to the trauma part, the cellular, the mind, the brain, for me, that Joe Dispenza did, because Joe Dispenza brings in the science, and I like science. And people will ask me how I do what I do. It's science. I study energy, right? Now everyone wants to be a medium, but I'm going to tell you, many people cannot speak to the dead. It's all a farce, because that's a level that you have to really be born with. I believe that, and I've been told that. And so then we have a world where there's false healers, false people, and you have to survive all of it, and you're trying to find your path, and you don't know what to do, and if that worked for you, how come it's not working for me? And sometimes I have friends that go do ayahuasca and they're healed. You got to find your path. You've got to find what works for you. So try different things, right? That's what I did. I'm 57 years old, and I've just started to figure this stuff out because I brought the science into it more, because that's how my brain works. And so, because science makes sense and spirit makes sense. So when you combine the two, it's a very powerful tool, and I found Joe Dispenza has done that for me. He's not for everyone. So my suggestion to you is find what works for you, but understand, if you had a lot of trauma in your life, we have to reprogram the cells and the subconscious mind and find out how you do it for you, right? Now, if you're interested in doing that, you can email me, and we can hold sessions together, and I can show you how to do that. I can hold programs on it. I can teach the masses, whatever. If people are interested, really interested in doing it. But it takes a commitment. You know what, you guys? To heal your spirit, to heal all the shit you've been through so you can get that life you want, and the abundance comes to you, and you're doing the career you love and doing the things you love and attracting the healthy people in your life. You have to do the work. And I see so many people, they post memes on Facebook, they claim their power, but I don't see them walking the path. And that was me too. And the thing is, you have to walk the path. And once you get on the path, it's real easy to walk. And but you have to do the work. So what does that look like for me? The work, and when you say, and people say, Faye, what do you mean by the work? For me, the work was spending 5 to 8 hours a day reprogramming my cellular structure and my subconscious for 8 months. And I listened to frequencies, I listened to lectures, I listened to successful people I admire and respect, and figure out how they did it, and I follow their path, and I tweak it to be my own. I listen to myself more. I love myself. I don't care what anyone thinks about me, because in the end, nobody's really thinking about me. Everyone's always worried, you know? And I look at the world and it scares me. I won't lie to you, because I don't understand what people are doing. Everyone's getting triggered. Everyone's upset with somebody for doing this. People don't know, what's going on. People are shooting each other. Road rage is crazy. I look at the world and go, what the fuck is happening? What are these people doing, And I have to navigate through this. So the way I navigate through it is I just let people do whatever the fuck they want and realize that I only control myself, right? There's nothing I can do. When I'm in traffic, I just gotta let that person cut me off. I don't care. I don't give a shit, you know what I mean? As long as they don't hit me or anything, I'm good, Yeah. You just gotta let things go. That's how I do it. I learned what is important in my life, and what's important in my life isn't all the stuff I can't control. You understand? People are dying, like literally begging for help, begging for people to listen to them. And we're all, I look at society and it's just, everyone's so consumed about their physical appearance. They get fillers, they get surgery to be skinny, they reconstruct their whole face so they're not even themselves, and they wonder why they're miserable still. You're miserable still because you're not working on the inside. You have to work on the inside to feel good. I used to worry about, I made a post about this on Facebook. By the way, you can follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I like to post stuff on there. The Tattooed Psychic on Instagram. But anyway, I posted on Facebook today that I used to be so worried about my looks and going out, and I just in fact, this morning I was talking to my spirit guide going, God, do I have to make a video? I just, don't like how I look sometimes. I just, and then she's like, why? You're amazing. Your light is beautiful. And I'm like, you're right. Who cares? But it's funny because I will make a video in my pajamas now, where before I had to do all the makeup and hair and eyeshadows and eyebrows and, all this shit. And it was just so much time consuming. Ew. Now you take it or leave it. What matters to me now is the message. So the message today is you got to find what works for you. There's so much information out there. And I would also suggest listening to YouTube tarot readers. There's so many good ones. And they really do, a lot of them really give great advice, and it's all free. So you have to kind of get spirit into your life program. You know what I mean? You have to start practicing spirit every day. Practicing what works for you every day. Not just try something and then give up and think, oh, I failed. And people try meditation. Meditation is really huge right now, and it does work. And meditation is just, and not, you can never fail at meditation, by the way. You can never fail at meditation. And you've got to realize that you don't fail when you put in effort to heal yourself. You're never a failure. Spirit has always taught me, if you have good intentions, you will never fail at anything. It might be a rough road. Mine was a rough fucking road. to get to this point. And some of you are going to have that and some of you aren't. And that's just the way life is. And don't be jealous of those who have it. Don't be envious, because it will destroy you. I look at my cousins, right? I have 2 cousins. I hope they don't mind if I say this, Kitty and Marcy. And they're beautiful, amazing human beings, right? I admire them. But I will be honest, envious of their upbringing, because my aunt and uncle are kick-ass parents. They're really kind of the only family I've had, honestly. And I get emotional talking about it, because I love my uncle so much. And he's such a good man. I mean, you would want this guy as your dad, right? And I look at my cousins and think, you had the fucking most awesome upbringing, you know? And I'm not pissed off about it, envious. But then I look and say, you know what? But I got to see it and be a part of it. So in a way, I do have it, because I get to experience their presence whenever I can see them. I don't get to see them much, unfortunately. But I found myself at sometimes getting envious, like, man, they had such good parents. Why didn't I get parents like that? Why could not my uncle have been my father, you know, or my auntie, because my auntie's such a good mom, you know? And so I look at that, and she's a great auntie too, but I look at the people sometimes with their upbringing and go, God, you had a good, but they had their own struggles, right? They have their own set of problems, which are different than mine. And so everybody has something, right? Everybody has issues. And so don't be jealous if somebody had an easier life than you. Because if you had a harder life, that means you're one tough son of a bitch. You know, you're a spirit warrior. I have it tattooed on me, spirit warrior, to remind me that I had a real tough life, but it made me who I am today, and I'm still surviving. And Spirit has always taught me, if you are still walking and breathing, you are still able to make change. You can change any minute. That's the beautiful thing about change. Like Miley Cyrus said it, I heard it in an interview. You can change. Change can happen at any time. You can change. And who would have thought I would quote Miley Cyrus? I actually love Miley Cyrus. I think she's incredible. She's a warrior too, right? She has her own struggles in life. You can see it, and she talks about it, and she's amazing. She's so strong. And I feel like everyone has problems. No matter what celebrities, if you're poor, rich, everyone has problems. And we have to acknowledge that. And not be jealous of their lifestyle or their money or all that, because it takes away from the essence of you. You can have all that too if you really want it, right? You have to learn to create your life. You know, I used to think, when I started the Tattooed Psychic about 30 years ago, I used to think I wanted all that fame and fortune and all that. And I'll tell you what, I got a little taste of it, and it was horrific, and it wasn't for me. And I leave it to the younger healers who want all that exposure. You go for it. You know what I mean? I just want to help the wounded spirits. I'm an underdog healer. You know what I mean? I help those who are punk rock junkies, you know, fighting addicts, you know, shit like that. Artists struggling, abused women. That's where I go. That's where I go. Those are the people I want to help to really find their path. Because, man, when you see somebody who survives abuse and they become a beautiful person, whether it's a male or female, and they come into their own and they're powerful, and all of a sudden they're successful and they have a job they love, or they started a career and they're just booming, and they survived it, it's beautiful, man. And you help them get there, and then you introduce them to their spirit, and they were able to connect and have this beautiful life. Man, that's cool to see. That's cool to see. I get emotional about it. You know, I could tell you a million stories of people I've seen. And that's the kind of healer I am. I'm the underdog. The underdog, punk rock spirit, you know. And I'm not ashamed of that. I don't care. I've helped people for no money, right? I do charge money for my readings, because it's my time and energy, and Spirit has taught me to do that. It's an exchange, right? But I do donate a lot of my time, because especially for women who are abused, and you know, they can't afford my services, or because they're trying to get their lives together, or people who are suicidal. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, you have to pay me. No, you know, but that doesn't make me a saint, right? That just makes me a human being who understands her life purpose, right? That's all that is. When you understand your life purpose, you give abundantly, and don't expect anything back, because you know why? You know the universe is going to give you abundance. The universe right now is giving me more than, I get emotional about it, but I have worked so hard to get here that the universe is just giving me what I want and what I need. And I don't want to lose that. So I have to stay on top of my practice all the time, because when we learn that the old self will try to come back, right? And when you open your spirit and you start to heal the subconscious mind and heal the cellular structure and heal the trauma, the old self is going to come back, because it's going to try to come back, and you're going to maybe feel shitty for a while until you realize that's the old self just used to that pattern, right? It's addicting to stay in the numb, because that's all you know. And so when you get to the other side and you start knowing the new self, and you're like, wow, I like this person better, it changes you. And you want to keep that pattern going. Excuse me, I get emotional. Thank you, Spirit. And trust me, if you could have a talk with my spirit guide, they would tell you stories about me, because we have gotten in some doozy arguments. And that's okay too. I don't have a beautiful day every day. Sometimes I get down. Sometimes I do get upset about the world, because it breaks my heart. Breaks my heart when I read about a 10-year-old shooting someone or killing themselves because they got bullied to that extreme. And it breaks my heart that kids are even bullying because their parents aren't teaching them not to. Come on. All right. Fortune's wheel, luck and right timing. There we go. Here we are, folks. Isn't that beautiful? So let's just look at that like we are at, thank you, Spirit. Spirit's talking to me right now. Hold on. So, in my life and in many people's lives, a lot of death has happened this week. Thank you, Spirit. And Spirit wants to say that when mass death happens like this, it's a change, it's a shift, right? And they want us to know that within 2 to 3 months, a major energy shift is going to happen for some of you, most of you, if you stay on the enlightened path. And this shift will allow you to use your manifestation to its fullest extent. Now that's pretty cool. But here's the key. You have to do the work and stay on the path with good intention. That does not mean you walk around in fake saint, I call it fake saint energy, where, oh, I'm so happy and everything's so great. That's not what I'm talking about, right? But inside you're struggling. I'm talking about going inside, dealing with that struggle and exuding it outside, right? Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, in other words, becoming your authentic self. And you have to do the work. And do that work, man. You got 2 to 3 months to do this. Fucking pound it. Get in there. Get in that subconscious. Get that cellular shit reconstructed, because that's how it's going to work. Right? Talk to your spirit guides. They have answers. If you don't know how to talk to your spirit guides, email me. Leave the comment. I'll teach you guys how to talk to your spirit guides. I have no problem doing that. It's not hard. You just got to start talking. And you might not hear them at first. So I'll give you a little tip. I always tell my students this. The first step to opening your spirit really is connecting with that spirit guide, and because you're a team, they will give you information about what to do, where to go, all this stuff, where to prevent. And sometimes I lost touch with my spirit guide. That's a whole different story. But to get in touch with your spirit guide in the beginning, that's so important. And so you get a tarot deck. You go online or you go to a store. I prefer going physically to a store in Seattle, Tenzing, Momo. I don't know what city you live in or what part of the world, but just find a tarot deck. And if there are no stores, find it online. And you kind of stroll through. And this is where your first test might happen, where you let go of your own thinking and let spirit think for you. Some of you don't know what that means, but it's simple. You shut off your thinking patterns and you listen and you let spirit guide you where you need to go. It's that gut instinct. And so you will go and you will look at all these tarot decks and your spirit guide one will pop out, and it might not make sense to you because mine didn't. My spirit guide showed me the Druid Animal Oracle. This was 30 years ago. And I was like, the Druid decks, and I was like, what is Druid? What is this? I don't even know what this is, because that wasn't my style. And they said, no, it's that deck. And then after I got to know my spirit guide, it completely made sense. And that deck and me worked together for a long, long time. And he communicated with me through that deck. So whatever deck works for you is what you need to do. Okay? And I want to tell you guys something too. Don't worry about, a lot of people want to talk to the dead because they think, oh, that's so, you're talking to the dead all the time. And they're not dead. I don't even like that word. You're talking to people passed on all the time. And there are a lot of fake charlatans. I remember years ago, I worked with this girl and she so wanted to be like me. And then she tried to do a live show where she talked to dead people, and she failed miserably because she wasn't genuine, you know. And so don't embarrass yourself, you know. Follow your own gifts. Do your own gifts. You know, my gifts are different than your gifts, and it's okay. It's okay. Hell, I know people who are way more advanced than I am, and I'm not jealous. I'm like, wow, teach me. That's really cool. Let's not be jealous of each other. Get rid of jealousy and envy, and you will start living a better life automatically. You don't even have to read a spiritual book to do that. You know what I'm saying? It will come just like that. Like, get rid of it. There's no need to be jealous or envious of anybody when you can have the best life ever. That's crazy, right? So that's my advice today. I hope it made sense. I mean, so start digging in, read books. I started off because I was able to communicate with the dead since people passed on since I was little. My way of beginning my path was Rosemary Altea, reading books of people who were mediums so I could understand. When I read her book, I was like, holy shit, that's me. That's what I do. And then I realized I was a medium. And so read books that you're drawn to. If you don't know what your gifts are, read different books and you'll figure it out. You might not be a medium. Maybe you're an energy healer. Maybe you're really good at that. You know, maybe you're a yoga instructor. Maybe you're a chef. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a nurse. I don't know. I don't know. The only way you're going to know is if you explore those doors that you are attracted to, and open them up and walk in and say, am I meant to do this? Oh, I think so. Or no, that's not for me. So that closes that curiosity and you can move forward. Or it opens that curiosity and you can still move forward with that. So there's so many things you can do to start opening your spirit and figuring out your life path. There really are. But you have to start at ground zero and learn to shut off your overthinking and listen to your gut instinct. Learn to listen first, and then the rest will follow, I swear. Get out of your head, but go into your head. It gets confusing, but it's really not. Anyway, I love you all. Let's just see. Spirit wants me to draw another card. I don't know why. They're just saying draw a card, Faye. I hope all this makes sense, you know. And like I said, you can reach out to me. I mean, oh yeah, forgiveness. I heard this the other day that this is a huge part of healing too, is forgiveness. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding me of that, because Spirit does not want you to forget that. And here's the best way I've ever heard forgiveness described. Forgiveness is when the emotion of the trauma that happened to you no longer affects your life, or you no longer react to it. That's forgiveness. When you no longer react to the trauma that happened to you in the same emotion. Something, you know. See? When we control our emotions, we control our life. I lived for a long time in bitterness because I was so pissed off at what happened to me. I didn't even talk to Spirit for about 8 years. and my life fell apart. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I had to reconstruct my entire life, not just my physical world because I was homeless, but my mental, not just my physical environment, but my mental and physical state as well. Crazy shit. I went through a lot of hell, and I'm not saying that to get pity, because I don't like pity. I look at pity as weakness. It's weakness. I tell you this because I want you to know that whatever you're going through, you can get through it too. You can, because we're that fucking strong. We are. It's crazy how strong we are. It's crazy how powerful we are, and we just fucking whatever. No, I want you guys to rock your power. Here we go. Rising above the fray. See what I was talking about? Like, who cares what people think about you? Who cares what they say? Let them talk. You know, I dated someone after being single for a while, and this person did everything that I asked them not to do because of the trauma I had went through. They did everything. They were smoking meth. They were cheating on me. They were doing everything. But in person, they were just really nice. And so I thought something was wrong, but then I thought, no, Faye, that's the bitter self. So let me tell you something. Always trust your instinct. And then this guy went around telling people, saying horrible things about me. And I go, well, isn't that interesting? Because this guy got $10,000 in debt off a sex site that he'll never see that woman. He was sending her money. She lived in Asia, apparently, even if that was a true person, you know what I mean? Doing meth, lying to everybody, and yet when I got upset about it and said, wow, you're an evil person for literally checking all the boxes I asked you not to check because you knew my trauma and you want to trigger my trauma, that you're a fucking evil motherfucker, man. That's sociopath. That's narcissistic beyond. And see, people don't like it when you call them on their shit and you stand up to them after they hurt you, right? They don't like it. Well, if you hurt me, I'm going to call you on it in your face and tell people what the truth. And that was a recent event, and it taught me a lot that I don't trust anyone until they show me their truth. And if my gut instincts to say they're lying, and I'm out. I don't give a shit. And I'll tell you what, if you hang out with abusers, if you are just so full of shit or your energy is down here, I don't even give you my time, because my energy's up here. Where are you? You know, come up here with me. Let's look eye to eye and have this great conversation, right? I'm not going to lower myself for you anymore. And that's what learning the new self, learning how I am, has taught me. I've lowered myself and dimmed my light for so many people, and it's not happening anymore. And that doesn't mean anything, that I think I'm better or anything. When you love yourself, you just automatically know what you deserve. Right? Ooh, spirit. Woo! And confirmation. My dog was like, what is that? Literally, just something fell off my wall. But it's true. It's true, man. You just know what you deserve. And I want you guys to get there. I want you guys to know your worth and what you deserve. So start at ground zero. Get a tarot deck. Get an oracle deck. Whatever thing works for you. And start opening that connection. It will work. I promise you. If you do the work, it has no choice but to happen. Because that's all you're putting your energy into. All right, that's all I got time for. I got to get to work myself. But people have asked me, what did I do? And I'm telling you that it was a modge-podge of things. It was a modge-podge of things I've done over the years. But the most recent thing I've done is follow Joe Dispenza and use his methods. And one day I will get to one of his seminars. I love the guy. I think that the work he does is phenomenal. Phenomenal work, because he is really the first person to combine science and spirit and go public with it. And I think he's one of the most amazing. I don't even know if he's a real human, because he is so deep into understanding the body. He has done the research. He has scientific proof that this works. And And I just tell you it does. I tell you, when you reprogram yourself and the cells and the subconscious mind, it does. You're just on a different level. My energy is so different now. And I know that my friends are around me and they see me and go, Faye, you're different. And I go, thank fucking God. Thank fucking God. You know? All right. Oh, and by the way, I was watching Jelly Roll. I've been following Jelly Roll. He's a musician. And I've been following him from years, from his rapper days all the way up to his new country music stuff. And he's just amazing. And I listened to him, and somebody made a comment on his social media and said, oh man, you've changed, and yada yada yada. And he gets on, and his response was so beautiful. He's like, hell yeah, I've changed. Thank God I've changed. You know, and he went on about how change is important and we should always grow and change. He goes, do you think I want to be that same person I was 10 years ago? No, I want to be better. And I just love him and respect him and his wife so much, because they just exude this power, you know. He just talks about what he wants and it creates it, you know. He's a very powerful spiritual person, whether he knows it or not, right? I think he's an inspiration to me, and I think to many. And it sounds cheesy, right? Because he's just a musician, but he's more than that. He's a survivor, and his wife is too. And together they have found each other and are just powerful. And so, you know, listen to people speak, people you admire or you're drawn to for whatever reason, and they will advise you through their talks, through their social media, whatever. And anyway, be the inspiration, I guess, but also seek the inspiration. So I'm rambling on at this point. Love you all. Thanks for watching The Tattooed Psychic. If you would like to be a guest on my show, email me readingswithfaye@gmail.com, or leave a comment in the comment section and I will reach out to you. I have finished my hermit part of my journey, and I'm heading into booking guests now for the summertime and getting this show on the road. And sometimes, people, you have to hermit out and focus on yourself, and I do that. I'm not ashamed to say that. You might not see my videos for a while or hear my podcast for a while. It's because I'm working on me to grow and be better, so I can give you a better show and bring better guests on, and et cetera, et cetera. So I love you all. Thanks for watching The Tattooed Psychic. Follow me on Instagram. Hit the like button. Yada, yada, yada.